Christian X CYInterview covering Las Vegas and the world. Welcome back to our YouTube channel. If you have not already, please subscribe to our channel to keep up with everything we do here in Las Vegas. Over the last few days, it is June 2024. We have been speaking about the Las Vegas Raiders football team, and now it's time to talk about Las Vegas's college football team, the UNLV Rebels. Last year, the UNLV Rebels surprised everybody with a 9-5 campaign and a bowl game for the first time in 10 seasons. Now, just to begin, before the season began, we had on college football expert, one of our longtime friends, Phil Steele, on with us here on CYInterview, and he didn't expect that the University of Nevada Las Vegas Rebels would end up being in a bowl game. He expected that they'd have 4 victories. So in Barry Odom's first season as head coach, the UNLV Rebels vastly overachieved. They overachieved in ways that nobody expected them to achieve, that made watching UNLV football exciting for the first time in 10 years as the team went to a bowl game, and they even played in their conference championship game, even though they lost. And what's really interesting about the 2024 upcoming season is this will be Barry Odom's second season, and now people have some belief that the team, is now competitive and can be postseason eligible on an ongoing basis. So today we're going to break down and talk about the UNLV Rebels 2024 schedule. I'm just going to say before we get into the schedule, I really like this schedule because I believe it's going to really challenge the UNLV Rebels this year. This is a schedule where I look at it, I say to myself, how good is this team? How good are the returning starters? What will end up happening overall? Can this team continue its streak and have a second bowl game in 2 years? I think it's going to be a very challenging schedule again. So we begin. They have to go and play at Houston just to begin the season. Houston is a good enough team, obviously, to play with UNLV. Houston has played many of the big boys like UNLV has on an ongoing basis. And I expect that opening game at Houston is going to be very competitive. I bet there's going to be a lot of points on the scoreboard, my humble opinion, from both schools. You could see a game in the 30s or 40s, and we'll see if UNLV is able to garner enough offense to be able to outscore Houston in a victory there. I think that's the way that they probably win week 1. Week 2, you get the favorable home matchup. They open the season at Allegiant Stadium, which is the home of the Las Vegas Raiders. The UNLV Rebels do end up playing there as well, of course, and they're going to be taking on Utah Tech. That should be an easy victory and the easiest victory of the year for the UNLV Rebels. Then week 3, the third game of the season, they have to go play at Kansas. Of course, as you know, they lost their bowl game last year to Kansas by a score of 47-34, I believe it was. Kansas, a much better football team the last couple of years. That will be a challenging game. Again, I expect a lot of points, 30s and 40s. We shall see what happens. Then you're at home again in your conference playing Fresno State. Will be probably a very competitive game. At Utah State, we'll have to wait and see what happens on that. Don't know much about the Aggies this year. Then you got to go play at Oregon State. Oregon State, again, another good football team, of course. Oregon State, very competitive these last couple of years. Bowl game team, obviously, was just here a couple of years ago in Las Vegas, playing in the Las Vegas Bowl where they beat Florida by the score of 30-3. Good enough team to give UNLV some fits. Again, I'm expecting a lot of points in that game. Then you have to play at home Boise State. Again, Boise State, who, always a good team, always fields a good squad. That'll be competitive. At Hawaii, probably a more winnable game. Hawaii's still in regrouping mode after the last couple of seasons. Probably a lot of points in that game. San Diego State, always kind of a tricky game. San Diego State has a better defense than some of these other schools that UNLV faces on an ongoing basis. Then you're going to at San Jose State, probably a lot of points, and finishing the season at home against Nevada. Nevada, who is now in a regrouping phase after an under 500 season last year. It wasn't a very good campaign for the Nevada Wolfpack. So, I think this is going to be a very competitive schedule. I'm very excited, by the way, to not mention, of course, the one other game I didn't mention from the season is that at home, UNLV is going to welcome in this year the Syracuse Orangemen. Syracuse Orange, historic football team, obviously, with a lot of great ties and a lot of great players who played for Syracuse, of course. And it's going to be a very interesting campaign, very interesting season to see what ends up happening. Of course, the great Jim Brown played for Syracuse. So the Syracuse Orange are coming to Allegiant Stadium to play the UNLV Rebels. I think that will be a very exciting football game. It'll be interesting to see what the crowd is like and how many people come to root on the Syracuse Orange against the UNLV Rebels. So, in recapping, I think this upcoming season is going to be a very competitive schedule that's really going to challenge UNLV. Will they be able to win 6 games? Will they be able to go back to a bowl game again this year? I'm not really sure about that. They're going to have to win some of these games against more competitive teams this year. So it'll be interesting to see after a 9-5 campaign last year, how will the UNLV Rebels do in the second season under Coach Barry Odom? I'm Chris Yannick for CYInterview. If you haven't already, please like this video and please subscribe to keep up with everything we're doing here in Las Vegas. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.